Welcome to the heart of the city. In the next hour, we will highlight artists throughout the city, some you know and some you don't, who all help create a better Jackson. Over the past few years, there's been an increase in color throughout the city. We spoke to First Lady Ebony Lumumba and Pamela Jr., the director of the two Mississippi museums, about why this is important.
They see really how beautiful the culture of our city is and how talented the people of our city are.
First Lady Ebony Lumumba says she's glad her children can grow up in a place with so much art and believes without it, we wouldn't be as connected. We would live more in silos if we didn't have art. We would only understand or appreciate our own experiences, our own cultures, and existing in a vacuum is never a good thing. We need to encounter other cultures and other communities and other ways of life in order to appreciate the human experience, in order to treat others with humanity. And someone who agrees with the necessity of art in our community is Pamela Jr., the director of the two Mississippi museums.
It tells a story. It's like this pathway, this wonderful journey that people take, that they can learn about something that happened in the past. So here at the Civil Rights Museum, what better place to see art? You know, you think about people like Hertesine Rankin, a quilter that I'm sitting in front of. She talks about this journey of her father who was murdered.
Junior also says the art produced today also provides a spiritual experience.
When I think about Harold Miller, Sabrina Howard, I think about God, because God made us in his own image. They tap into their greatness, either poetry, either a sculptor or a visual artist. That's actually tapping into the greatness of God.
And First Lady Ebony Lumumba encourages everyone to take a moment to appreciate the art surrounding the city and continue to document our existence for future generations. Brian Newman is the creator of Hobo Pottery, who got his first introduction to art in Jackson Public Schools.
Without art, life is kind of void.
Brian Newman's appreciation of art began in grade school.
I had really good art teachers in Jackson Public Schools, and Chastain and Amara, and always liked art.
But he never really jumped into it until he received a special Christmas gift.
My mother gave me some Christmas coupons to go take pottery classes with a local potter in Madison. And I've been working with him and learning from him for 25 years.
After years of mastering his craft on the side, he's now working full-time on his business called Hobo Pottery.
I'm trying to make a living at it, which is hard, but hey, I'm giving it a try.
And he hopes to soon help mold the next generation of potters.
Eventually, I'm thinking about teaching, but we got to let this COVID thing run its course because we need to be safe. And it'd be nice to be able to pass it on because my mentor who used to teach doesn't teach anymore.
And Newman says if he can help one person unlock their love for art and see things differently, he's happy. Well, dance teams are very important to our culture, and I sat down with Miss Diana Williams, the owner of the Dollhouse Dance Factory, about how DD4L teaches more than dance. How important is dance to Jackson?
Dance is a way to express yourself through the art of movement, music. Dance has no boundaries. Dance has no limits. Dance has really no specific definition. There's really no right and wrong way to dance unless it is a specific dance style. What I love about dance is that it gives you the freedom to just be you without any judgment attached to it. A lot of people don't know, especially with what's going on in Jackson right now, everybody needs to have the freedom of movement to just be themselves without being judged. There's a lot of judgment going on in the city. There's a lot of heartache and heartbreak going on in the city of Jackson right now, which is very sad to see and read online. But it's really important that we as a people kind of understand. When I say we as a people, I don't mean Black people, I mean people, period, as a whole, understand that dance is a way to express yourself and to be 100% free.
When you think about the culture of dance in Jackson, do we have a specific style?
I think that everything is surrounded by Jackson State University 100%. A lot of the high schools are following what they see the Princeton J-Sets do at Jackson State. Jackson is a majorette world. Like we're not a ballet world. We're not a hip hop world. You know, that's not our world. Our world has become 100%, majorette. I think that the culture of dance is becoming one of those gymnastics, acrobatic, unique pots gumbo when it comes to dance. Like It's not one way and one specific thing. And I love that because as we continue to evolve as a majorette culture, and so it's weird to even say that, majorette culture, as we continue to evolve as a majorette culture, I think the kids coming up with more and more tricks and ideas and stunts and things. So it's becoming crazier every single week.
Thinking about how you basically led the charge to change the way people thought about Jackson, Mississippi. Do you get overwhelmed by that thought?
I don't think that I led the charge. I just think that I brought some attention to something that was already there. We've always been, a heart of, even though we are the state's capital, Jackson has always had a heart for people. Jackson, Mississippi has always had a heart. I've always had a heart for my city. When I was growing up, I watched Jackson State University. I watched the majorettes. I listened to the marching bands. I hung out at the malls, Metro Center, when Metro Center was Metro Center. That was our culture. So I can't say that I started something, but I will say that I did shed a light on it. Nobody knew, that Jackson was Jackson. Nobody knew what HBCUs were. I had to explain when we were on television that HBCU stands for Historically Black College and University. I had to explain what the SWAC was, Southwestern Athletic Conference. It was weird to me. I'm like, how do you not know these things? But the television show shined a light on something that was already there. Jackson, the majorettes at Jackson State have been around for 50 years now? So I'm not even 50. So that was around before I was even born or even thought about it or could even walk. So I'm saying all that to say, me having the responsibility of carrying a torch of something, let's say that I didn't start it, but I picked up a torch, took the responsibility of where it was at the time, and I'm running with it now. I'm just saying all that to say, we provide a service with Dancing Dolls. It is bigger than the 5, 6, 7, 8. We are a community service organization that helps young kids learn more about themselves than they did before they came. It is a safe haven. Dollhouse is a house where you are safe when you get there. These kids are bullied at school. They're dealing with situations and issues at home. Their home lives are not where they need to be. If it's boys, if it's girls, whatever it is, you have a place where you have family. You walk through that door, and once you come through the doors of the Dollhouse, you belong to us. You're our family now. We protect you. Those things were not available when I was a kid. I didn't have that. I was the only little Black girl dancing in front of a room full of people that didn't look like me. I had to learn to find my way to the front because I was put in the back. So I teach my girls, to always be out front, to be outspoken, to be outstanding, to be visible at all times. And that's what the Dancing Dolls is about. It's not just about stand battle.
Now look, so far we've been covering the heart of the city, the arts.
Yes.
We're talking about it so far. So now I got to put you on the spot. What's your favorite one so far?
I think the pottery is cool. That's just so unique.
It is.
It was neat. And I also liked the dancing dolls. That was pretty cool because, the J sets, that is a very unique style of dance.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, she was right. She was talking about, everyone around kind of copies what they do.
Well, you said it, I didn't.
Yeah.
You started mess early this
They do.
morning. You
Ooh,
started
oh boy.
early. No, but I mean, when you think about art, if there was a type of form that you could get into, what would you do?
Well, I play music, Kayla. I was in band. Yes, I was in marching band at Mississippi State. So
Okay.
band is I played the clarinet. So music is what I'm into.
So I need you to go get it out the car so we can get you
There
to
you
play
go.
in
Yeah.
just a second.
If you got a clarinet in the newsroom, we can pull it out. We'll
You
get it
have
in.
one in the car. No?
No,
It's a
I
no-go?
don't. No.
Okay, well, since we're talking about instruments, which I wish I could play, but can't. Coming up on 12 News, a local music and arts academy is teaching the next generation of artists. So what happens if we don't teach the next generation about music and art? Luckily, there's a place working to make sure we never have to answer that question. 601 Studios Music and Arts Academy is teaching people of all ages something close to Mitchell McGinnis's heart.
I grew up with music and art, and I know how it influenced me growing up and in my friends and family.
Now he works to provide an outlet for students that they can grow with no matter what career path they choose.
It can be just a hobby for you, it can be a release, and it's going to benefit you even if ultimately you want to be a lawyer or a doctor, Some of the best lawyers and doctors I know are musicians also.
And students seem to enjoy lessons just as much as the teachers enjoy sharing their knowledge and skills.
If we don't take the initiative, like people my age, us millennials, if we don't take the initiative to share rhythm and share music and art with upcoming generations, the world is not going to look good. It won't feel good.
A sentiment that acting teacher Sarah Beth Solup agrees with.
Art is absolutely one of the things that defines Jackson. We have so much of it, and we're so lucky that it's such an artistic community.
Now that 601 Studios is here, it's easier to tap into your artistic potential with or without an instrument.
I wish that I'd had 601 Studios when I was growing up, and as soon as it opened, I knew I wanted to be a part of it to help anybody else with those same interests or problems.
McGinnis says it's never too late for you to learn about music and art and encourages you to give it a try. We're almost through. Can you believe we got through the first half of the show so far?
I know, I'm excited. There's more stuff on the way, though.
Absolutely. And of course, since you couldn't go get your clarinet out the car for me.
Sorry.
We're just not going to have our Squidward
You should have
moment.
texted me and say, Jacob, you need to do clarinet this morning.
I didn't think about it because I
Brought it
didn't
out of
even
the
know
closet.
you played, which is bad because I should know that about you, knowing that you were in the band. Anywho, here's somebody who will definitely make your day better. Let's go ahead. We got more show after this.
Hold up, I ain't stressing today. Bounce. I'ma tell you one more time. I ain't stressing today. Yeah, I ain't stressing today. Bounce. Hey, hold up. Why you mad at everybody out there? Did you hug yourself today? Bounce. Yo, I ain't stressing today. I ain't stressing today. Yo.
Introduce you to a few artists, but we also have to highlight one of the places that supports them, the Mississippi Museum of Art.
It really is a place where magic happens all the time.
Betsy Bradley, the director of the Museum of Art, says this space has always been important to Jackson's culture, but the need was highlighted during the pandemic.
The thing that became so clear to me was the healing power of a place like an art museum, because it brings people together in very safe ways, and they can encounter something that inspires them, makes them think.
And over the years, it's become a support system for artists statewide.
When it's not a pandemic, we have after-hours events where artists can show their works. We also have residency programs.
But they also provide ways for the community to get involved, like art healing programs.
For people with Alzheimer's or dementia or living with cancer, and they really, really benefit in very concrete and specific ways from being able to look at art and then make art together with a skilled art therapist.
Bradley says art benefits us as a community in more ways than we realize, and local artists are necessary.
If we don't have active working artists in Jackson, then there's some part of the soul of the city that's missing.
And she says it's important to support the spaces that also support the artists. From paramedic to painter, Ellen Langford connects the essence of our city and state in everything she creates.
It's a real gift to be able to do it as a living.
Ellen Langford was working as a paramedic before making the jump to become a full-time painter, and it's been going well.
I sell in multiple galleries throughout the state and outside of the state, and I hope that my work is accessible for people who are willing to spend thousands of dollars on a piece and people who don't have much. So I love to have a broad variety of sizes and mediums.
Through her process, she says she feels connected to people, landscapes, animals in the state.
I've been back for over 20 years now, but coming back to Mississippi, certainly I have kind of reconnected to the state through my work.
And she hopes when people see her work, they understand two things.
Both kind of difficult intricacies of what it means to be Mississippi, the good and the bad, but hopefully some of the hope and joy that can come out of where we are.
Well, knitting and crocheting can sometimes be seen as a lost art, but Lynn Watkins is one of the people using this to create something amazing.
We've emphasized so much working solely with our minds that we've not emphasized the glory and beauty of working with one's hands.
Lynn Watkins is a fiber artist. She knits, sews, and it's something she says provides peace of mind.
I think it gives great joy. Plus, I think there's also the satisfaction of creating something with your own hands, something that gives someone else joy or completeness, or gives them something they can use.
A lesson she says her Depression-era parents passed on.
You got to be able to use it.
Watkins is also a part of the Chimneyville Weavers and Spinners Guild and works alongside others to make sure this doesn't become a lost art.
Part and parcel of our mission, when you enjoy creating something, you want to pass that skill on to someone else that they get as much joy from it as you do. So we try to put on as many educational things as we can.
And you can learn from her in the Craftsmen's Guild of Mississippi at the Bill Waller Craft Center. For more information, visit our website, WJTV.com. Now, there are some artists who use the city as their canvas and document the times in a way unlike anyone else. One of those artists that does that for us is Sabrina Howard.
My doodlings on the walls were advanced doodlings, let's put it like that.
From a young age, Sabrina Howard's eye for art has been unlike anyone else's.
It reminds me of like a Mexican marketplace. Now it's a hotel. Someone lives in a room in the inn upstairs. First grade was when someone actually pulled my mom aside and said, hey, she has something here. I want you to see something. And I remember being in a room of these adults and some administrators, and they were like asking me to draw random things like, hey, draw a ball. So of course I drew a ball, but it was 3D.
And over the years, she's evolved into one of the most thought-provoking artists in Jackson and decided this year to make the jump into being a full-time fine artist.
Right in the middle of a pandemic, I walk away from what would be consistent income, comfort zone, what I basically felt was complacency.
Performing at various events across the city and beyond, she creates some of the most incredible pieces in 2 hours or less, sometimes with a deeper meaning, like this piece called Change for a 20.
If we change the way we think about money, whereas we use money as a tool and not a controlling factor in our life, then we'll be probably better people. Okay, you can come around, a little pink on the edge if you want.
Now she's passionate about passing her love of art and creation to the next generation of children and adults in Jackson.
A lot of the things that we create, or with it being visual, musical, or whatever, I feel that we can help others see things a little differently, like maybe make them think differently about our situations here and how they directly relate to the rest of the world.
And she'll continue to honor those chain breakers and trailblazers in our community, speaking truth to power and documenting history one piece at a time. Now, we've been talking about art so far, and we already said that dance is a form of art. So, What is your go-to dance move?
Oh, my go-to dance move?
Yeah.
Oh, Kayla, you're putting me on the spot here.
I am. Since you couldn't play the clarinet, we're going to go ahead and see this dance move.
I don't know. I guess just like this.
Ooh-wee.
Is that bad?
What is that called?
I don't know. What's your go-to dance move? Let's see
it's the Tootsie Roll. If I could get out this chair right now, I'd give it to you. I'd take you down.
How do I do this? Is that like this?
Or the robot. How about we let some people who actually know how to dance do this? We'll be right back. Angie Thomas is a Jackson native and New York Times best-selling author. We spoke a while back about all the things she's doing in her career and why she's always going to give back to her hometown.
If anybody has been working for the past 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, it's been you. I mean, Blackout on the come up. How do you have time for all these projects?
Well, it's definitely a struggle at times to find time, because the funny thing about being a writer and being a successful writer is that suddenly when you find success, you have all of these new obligations, such as events and stuff like that. So it's hard, but I have to literally fight for my writing time, and then find ways to take care of myself too. So staying here in Mississippi and trying to cut off all the distractions of like New York and Hollywood and Atlanta, that helps a whole lot.
And I wanted to talk about the fact that you're still here in Mississippi. You didn't decide to go ahead and get out. Why are you still here? Why do you feel it's so important to stay? And then you're also giving back to kids in Mississippi. Like, we see you all the time.
Yeah, it's important for me to stay because of those kids you just mentioned. I can go in Kroger and kids will see me and they're like, "Aren't you Angie Thomas?" And I'm like, "Yes." And for them, that's a reminder that somebody from here is doing something. And it's along the lines of what Nelson Mandela once said. He said that he would let people touch him so that they knew he was real. And I want these kids to see me so that they know that I'm real, but more importantly, so that they know that what I'm doing is possible for them to do too.
It's here, I'm trying to bring it out. But I want to just mention something real quick. Okay, so you signed this book for me on August 18th, 2018 at the book festival.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's coming up soon. And you're going to be there. Are you excited for the festival again?
I am. I'm doing a panel on Concrete Rose, and then I'm also doing a panel about Blackout with my fellow Blackout authors. We're getting them all down here to Mississippi for the book festival. And we're super excited about it, especially with the news that was just recently announced. This will be our first time seeing each other in person in months. So we'll get to celebrate that news in person at the book festival. It just feels fitting. I'm super excited.
I love how humble you are about it, because you're like, it's the news. You're about to be working with the Obamas for Netflix. Come on. I mean, that has to just be top 5 moment of your life right now.
Absolutely. It's up there with meeting President Obama and then meeting Oprah and then this. Like, those are top 3 all time, Those are top 3. But yeah, I still remember when I got the call, finding out that they were doing it. I was driving. I was actually on Highland Colony Parkway. This is how Mississippi I am. I was on Highland Colony Parkway near Costco, and I got the phone call, and I had to pull into like the Costco gas station because I was floored, and that's an honor, and to know too that they fell in love with the project and they love what we're doing and they are getting behind it, and not just for a movie, but for a television series. That's phenomenal.
So what are some tips for people who are like, you know what, I don't know if this book is a good idea or what I should do?
Well, I say, number 1, know that perfection is the enemy of progress. As long as you are thinking that it has to be perfect, you will not get it done. Write the good, write the bad, write the ugly. Every book that you've read did not start out polished like it is. There's a wonderful thing called editing and revising. Trust me, you can do that later. Just get the story out, get the words out, let it sound bad, let it be awful, just write it. 2, write it because it's something you'd actually want to read. It's a story you'd enjoy. It's a book you'd want to pick up on a shelf at a bookstore or a library. Don't write it because you think it'll be made into a film. That's beyond your control. Because it'll win awards. That's beyond your control. Because it'll be a bestseller. That's definitely beyond your control. Write it because it's the thing you want to read. And 3, write as if you're getting paid to do it, and eventually you'll get paid to do it. That's my advice for everybody out there who says they don't have the time to write.
I get that look like you see in real life. And then me working in discipline focus. The love that I got can be earned overnight. And trust me, I tried. Got a whooping trying to pimp the price. It probably tripped on my pride. But I knew the deal before I got started. Cause my parents taught me that it's a grind. And asking it'll be given. All you must do is just seeking, you'll find. Knocking, I promise the door gon' be open. You gotta be patient and make it take time. If you don't feel pressure, you never gon' shine. Prepare for the weather, umbrellas and sweat.
All right, we made it to the end of the show. Do you feel like you know all about the heart of the city now?
I do, yeah. I learned some new things.
Awesome.
I learned about dancing and pottery. I was going to tell you, Kayla, my favorite music was the violin that we went to break with one time.
Yes, because you still have to go find that clarinet.
Yeah,
and those dance
Kayla's
moves
was
we
going to
gotta
be
talk
me
about.
playing the clarinet. I don't think the people at home wanted to hear me play the clarinet. That we need to warm up a little bit. It's been a minute.
I think that's Heart of the City Part 2.
Oh boy, okay.
We get into
Next
it.
year's edition, we'll do that.
Right. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you have a very happy Saturday. Thank you for watching The Heart of the City, and keep on creating. That's it.
Great job, everyone.